On this week's show, Ronald Matters, host of Here For It Pod and RonaldMatters.com, is calling in to talk about online dating. We're going to discuss all the good, the bad, and the ugly of being on the apps. So stay tuned. This is The Outline.
The Outline. With Kevin Dwayne. The Outline. With Kevin Dwayne. This is The Outline. With Kevin Dwayne. Kevin Dwayne. Kevin Dwayne. With Kevin Dwayne.
Hey guys, what's up? It's The Outline. Thank you so much for joining me for yet another show. This is episode 47. We are coming up on a year very, very, very soon. I haven't decided what I'm going to do for the year anniversary, but it has to be something cute and I guess concise. Like it has to make sense for the year, but we'll get to that later. Remember, you can subscribe to this podcast at iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play Music. You can also listen at KevinDwayne.com. Make sure you are sharing it with your friends. Make sure you're liking it and commenting. Those reviews on iTunes are amazing. They help with my rankings, so make sure you're doing that as well. But this week, I have another special guest, and this is someone who actually we've been online friends for quite a while now, especially in the blogging community, so I'm actually excited to actually have him on the show. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Hey, my name is Ronald Matters of the infamous RonaldMatters.com. I have a podcast, Here For It Podcast, and listening to this podcast actually helped inspire me to start mine. So thank you for having me on the show today. But before we finish, can I just say how iconic that theme song is? I've been sitting at my desk at work. I'm like, hey, what Kevin Dwayne? I'm like, yes, get on the jig. Yeah.
Come through, Jig. Thank you. That theme song was done by my brother, and it was actually when I was still doing YouTube. And he made it for me, I want to say, like 2011, 10,
It's still relevant in 2017.
And here's the thing, though. It sounds better on a podcast. Like, that's the thing. Like, it was one of those things where I was like, I'm going to do a podcast. And I used it and tried it out. I'm like, actually, sounds way better. Because in the video, you're distracted by other things. And I only would use a clip of it because it was kind of silly. But it works for the podcast. So I think it'll be around for a little bit longer. But thank you. And also, I love Here For a Pod. You guys crack me up.
Thank you.
I love the energy. That damn fan cracks me up. Every time I'm like, damn. Well, until I saw the clip, there's you guys have to check out Here For a Pod and check out RonaldMatters.com.
Thank you.
But he has this fan. It's like it's a shade. Every time there's shade, he blows the fan out. And
you have to.
I was sitting here listening to it. I was like, what is that sound? And then I was like, oh, it's a fan. Because they also post little clips of them recording it, which I think is genius. So you're giving people an insight of what you guys actually look like. Tell me
marketing secrets.
Tell me something, though. Marketing secrets. So I realized, because you moved, right? Because were you in Memphis?
Yes,
before?
I left Memphis, Tennessee, and moved to Washington, D.C. last fall. And, even now, I still get questions about what's going on in Atlanta this weekend. And, I've skipped 2 cities, and they're still asking me about Atlanta.
Well, my thing is, where did this wall come from? Because I know this wall follows you, and I've always been intrigued by that. Like their backdrop. The backdrop.
Oh, that's my shower curtain from Target.
Come through. So wait, do you have it on a wall? Or do you have it in your bathroom?
No, in the bathroom, because the bathrooms have the best lights.
Okay.
And so there's a row of when you're sitting at a mirror vanity, and they have those little things of lights going all the way around it. In my bathroom, around my mirror, it has all of these lights. So of course it's the best lighting. So I'm just like, yeah, I sit in the bathroom and record in front of my shower curtain.
Okay.
But people I'm glad you have a full set. And I'm like, if only you knew.
I'm here for the insider secret. That is so awesome. I had no idea. That's so funny. I was like, where does this background come from? It follows him everywhere. Who know. That's awesome. See, we're learning things here today. But
I'm cheap, okay? This is a one-man show. The podcast, well, with my co-host, Martell at the Superman Todd. But outside of that, like, all of this is a one-man show. I'm figuring out how to market it, bring new content. I'm the singer, I'm the producer, I'm the songwriter. I'm just all of the things.
yeah, and I trust me, I get that completely, like completely. Doing things by yourself, it's like rough. So when people are like, "Oh, we want more of this or more of that," I'm like, you have to understand, like I'm the one.
You need to donate to my PayPal, my Venmo. I have the Cash App. Oh, please help me, help you. All right.
Seriously, no, but that's really it. You like, there's so much we have to do it all, and then people don't understand how the solo flow works. Like, I'm the lighting, I'm the production, I'm the drying myself off in between takes because the lights are too
I'll
hot.
dry you off, babe.
Oh, appreciate you. Thank you so much. You know. Also, I want to thank you for including me on your top 5 podcasts to listen to for Pride Month. That was really dope. Like, I was excited.
Because I was like, before I started my podcast, I was like, oh, I'm going to be the first one. I'm going to be the girls in out here doing this. It's me, Rona Matters. I was like, oh, shit, I'm not by myself out here. It's thousands of folks out here, child.
I mean, community is important, though. It really is. Like, hell, because I've met so many people in the podcasting, like, community since I've been doing it, and it's funny how we all kind of run the same groups. Like, I'm very familiar with Trilificent for Gay Side Stories, love that podcast. John Effect, he shouts out everybody, like that. Like,
thank you, John Effect. Thank you.
He's so busy though. Like, I'm like, how are you able to comment on all these podcasts?
He probably got somebody drying him off with his hair out in between comments.
Oh yeah. Like, he's just very active, and I appreciate that among many other podcasters. So it's a whole community. But anywho,
it's better than the blogging community.
Yeah.
No shame.
I mean, it's pretty active too, and I think everyone, it's dope that we all can collaborate and do things, and it always makes for interesting shows. So hopefully this is one of many collaborations for both of us moving forward and stuff like that. It's just a matter of just getting on the schedule and being ready to go. But yeah, all right. Have you seen Wonder Woman?
I went to go see it in IMAX on Thursday night. It was the best. Oh my god! Like, the opening scene, like, where did they film this? Like, in like Greece or France? They filmed it on somewhere really exotic.
I think it was like was it Louvre? It's Paris, I believe.
Oh my god! The opening scene was so beautiful, and then homegirl from House of Cards came in. I was like, oh my god, a face I know, but like, her celebrity doesn't make it weird. It's like, oh, well, there go the girl from this and this, and I can only relate to her as that character. I really enjoyed the lady from House of Cards in Wonder Woman and with her role, and I just enjoyed the whole thing as overall.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I mean, I'm not a comic kind of person, but I knew I wanted to support it because I saw that it was kind of like, oh, it's a woman, and people still have their same bullshit ass sexist ideals. And I was like, you know what? I want to support this just because it's a new chick, and I want to just go ahead and do that. So I knew I was going to see it. I saw it on Saturday, and I enjoyed it. Like, and it was a good 2 hours. Okay, it's like 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's a lengthy movie, but it's entertaining. I love
a great origin story.
Yeah, I love the mix of the comedy and the war scenes, the action. Like, I thought it was very, 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 very good. So totally enjoyed it. I'm sure it's gonna have a huge weekend because it's one of those movies that just does.
I really enjoyed, I think his name is Chris Pines. I enjoyed Wonder Woman's interaction with him, and how, like, it was a time, her origin story is in a time where people were more demure about flirting. It was like, he didn't flat out say, hey, shawty with the fat ass, come over here.
Right.
It was more, and like, watching them flirt throughout the 2 hours was really interesting.
Yeah, it was good, and I like the feminist approach of it too. It's like, it still allowed her to be this strong woman, but also it provided balance too. It wasn't like men aren't good for anything. It was very much like, no, there's a balance. We need each other, and I appreciate the way they went about kind of having that script. I really enjoyed it though. Like, I thought it was good. I saw it 3D. I didn't see IMAX. I kind of wish it was IMAX for the full experience, but man, them tickets like $22. I don't know.
The tickets were $20 in DC. Yeah, the tickets were expensive. Woo! But my blogging check had just came, and since I sat in the house for most of Memorial Day weekend, because DC Pride, as y'all saw on the videos, I was like, I'm not going out. No, I'm good at the house.
And and it's funny. Side note, isn't it crazy when you live in one of the major Pride cities how when it does come, you don't want to go out? Because I'm the same in Atlanta. Like when it's Pride out here, I stay home because of traffic. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do all that. And all the same clubs I go to regularly or normally will be like free $5, but those weekends they want to be 30, 40, and I'm not doing that.
But I feel like even in Memphis, coming to Atlanta for Pride, like the club stayed open to 4 or 5 in the morning, and then after that there was the after spots to go to, and then you didn't make it to your hotel till the sun came up. But here, things closed at 3. Saturday, I did actually go to the Lil' Kim event. I talked about that on Here For a Podcast. But I got there like 10:58. Tickets were $20. They were going up to $30 at 11, and then at midnight they was going to be $40. So you pay $40 to get in, and then it closes at 3, and then you have to stand in line to get in the door, stand in line for security check. You got to stand in line at the bar. Mm-hmm. Then you got to stand 5 miles from empty and hope that you can see Lil' Kim because you're 4'11". For $40, no, not for 3 hours.
And they raise the price of the drinks too. The drinks are more, and it's just a waste. It's a waste, honestly.
It's just a waste of $40. You could really seriously ditch cable and have a whole month of TV for $40.
Yeah, no.
Spending one night trying to see Lil' Kim.
That's true. I equate everything to how many groceries I can buy because I love going to Kroger. So anytime I spend anything, I'm like, you know how much I could get at Kroger for this? Like,
do you know how many packs of drumsticks I can do?
Right.
And I can buy the antibiotic free.
Right. Exactly. You know, I can put these in some Ziplocs, freeze them up.
Don't play with me out here.
Right.
I got my Ziploc bags as well.
Listen, that's the way you buy that big ass pack. You separate them.
One person, I'm not eating a whole pack of drumsticks in one go.
Well, that's they gotta last you. Seriously. So yeah, there's that. All right. So Wonder Woman was great. Just to circle that back around, but then okay. So I don't know if you saw this, but there's this whole drama on. Well, it started on Twitter with the magazine Ebony. Apparently, Ebony has not paid their freelance writers, so there's a hashtag called Ebony Owes. And so now there's kind of like, I don't know if it's a boycott, but people are saying don't buy their latest issue with Chance the Rapper on the cover. It has something.
But Chance the Rapper is so cute.
Oh, he's very handsome. He was on The View the other day, and I was like, God. Like, besides him chewing gum on set because that was stupid, but other than that, he's very like he's very good to look at, sweet guy. But yeah, apparently Ebony has all these writers they haven't paid dating back to like 2015, and they've been blocking them on Twitter. So whoever.
No, that's not the answer.
Whoever runs Ebony's social media has been blocking writers that they owe, so they can't publicly say that they owe them. So this whole scandal going on right now.
Oh, I thought you were saying that we were supposed to be blocking Ebony. The Ebony is blocking the writers.
Yeah, Ebony's social media team is blocking the writers that they owe, so they can't like publicly call them out.
Whether they won't see that they're being called out, because I could send a tweet, they just won't see it. They're just blocking their negativity out of their life.
Oh, is that what it is?
Like, girl, it's like blocking Capital One on Twitter. I know I owe her shit.
Well, yeah. I'm very much like with Sally Mae when they call my phone. I'm like, yeah, no, there's no need for you to call me. I'm fully aware that there are pending charges. I get it.
Okay.
Like I get it. I don't. Right. We just don't need that negativity. So maybe maybe Ebony is doing what we.
But that is crazy. Is it that Jet? Jet. It was Jet magazine, and who else was all under the Johnson & Johnson Corporation?
All those
conglomerate of
yeah.
magazines.
I don't know the full list, but yeah, there is like a huge list of all of them.
I wonder if Ebony is on that. Under that group, I'm not sure.
I don't know. All I know is they have. Apparently, they're saying that they're targeting young talent. So you get these people like fresh out of college and who are just they're trying to be journalists and stuff like that. And then you use them up, and then they think like, oh, this is a great opportunity. I want to write for them. And then they're like, oh yeah, the check's coming, and they always feel like it's coming, and it never comes.
Because I know when you do stuff like that, they have like net 30, net 60, or net something. And it depends on what day that they publish it. And then you won't get your payment sometimes to like net 75. Like sometimes you don't get paid until like 2.5 months. So then you're already like, well, girl, I'm planning for Labor Day weekend because it's June now, and I'll have that money. And then, and then like when the 75 days go by, you're like, well, girl, Labor Day here, and I don't got my tickets for my passes because I was waiting on that coin. And then you're like, now I done told the whole crew to put the Airbnb together, and I don't have my part of the coin because I done waited 75 days.
And that's
embarrassing me out here.
And that's why you shouldn't rely solely. If you're a freelancer, you should never rely solely on one corporation. But you do need to make sure that you're on your money, and make sure that you're like, okay, no, I need to buy this day. Because I need more exact dates. We're not about to play this game. So before whatever contract or whatever I'm signing, it needs to be a little more direct. But
and there need to be penalties for it when there are deterrents from the agreement. Because, okay, your payment is due on June 1st. If there's a deterrent from that, there's a $15 additional fee. And y'all need to discuss that before you sign or do your electronic signature, sis.
Agreed. I agree completely with that. Absolutely. It should be that way, but whatever. So hopefully Ebony...
I hope they get it together.
I hope so, too.
Love you, Ebony.
They need to... Yeah, y'all need to pay the people. And I think... And it's one of those things where it's just like... I'm super pro-black, so it's like, I just want this not to be Ebony.
Right? I was like, can it be like Gay Dad's Mag or something?
Gay Dad's L, one of them people, Vogue, somebody else. But nah, it gotta be our fucking magazine. Jesus, like, get it together. Get it together. Stop carrying the two. Stop paying the light bill money with the gas bill money.
Okay.
Like, get it together. So yeah, and then briefly before we start the recording, you were mentioning the whole Bill Maher thing. So if you want, go ahead and give your recap. I thought you had a better recap than me.
Well, I've only seen like snippets. Is that how you say that? But something about he was interviewing a governor of Indiana or Idaho or somewhere, and the guy was like, "Oh yeah, we'd love to have you out in the fields working with us." I think they were talking about bringing awareness to something. And then Bill said, "Oh, y'all still working in the field out there? You know I'm a house nigger." Yeah. And then I was like, Then I paused the video. Then I was like, am I offended? My initial reaction was, given the type of comedian that Bill is, I'm like, well, this is his stick to be offensive, to say things for ratings, to do. And so I'm like, well, should this just be another one under the rug? Because, I mean, he's talked about Muslims a lot. He's talked about white men and their, is it a discretion? And, like their imperfections. Mm-hmm. And so he's bringing up another common term that everybody knows. And it's just happened to be black this time. So,
so you haven't decided if you're offended or not yet.
I don't know if I'm offended or not.
I think with me, like, I'm kind of half and half. Like, I don't think he should have used the word nigga, because at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck if you come to the barbecue or not. You still can't use it. So you shouldn't use it, but I'm also not like, oh, fire him, stop watching. I'm not there yet because of, like you said, the type of comedian he is, like, it just is what it is. But he shouldn't have used the word. It was stupid. And honestly, he knew better. Like, get the fuck out of here. If you're over the age of, like, 22, you don't get any passes. And so I think he was fully aware of what he was doing when he said it. And it's just like, I don't care. Like I said, I'm kind of like, I'm not that invested. But yeah, no, he definitely shouldn't have said the word. Like, he should just let it be. Hell, even if he said Negro, it might have been better. I don't even know. Like, I'm not a house slave.
Bills of all these people who's proposing that he be fired. I want to see all of your Time Warner bills, Comcast, DirecTV.
Yeah, I don't think he should be fired.
The HBO package, sis.
I don't think he should be fired. Like, I have rocked with him for a while, as far as like how he, like, he capes for black people and minorities and stuff like that. I just think that was a very bad decision, but it's not worth the job. And I'm sick of this idea that people have to lose their jobs. Like, it's like every time people are upset, hit him.
Eddie Griffin lost a job with CNN. Then again, another comedian who does things and says things for attention, but it was wrong, and we were crying out when people were doing it with Obama. So I was like, but she should have had common sense that we've already had this cry before when they were beheading presidents, and we said it was wrong. Just because it's a white man this time, we all feel that way.
Yeah. It's a double standard. It's a double standard. No one did anything to Ted Nugent. So it's like
comedians talk about things that people are afraid to say, though. So
yeah. She shouldn't have been fired. She shouldn't have been fired.
Still, again, I don't know if I'm offended or not.
She shouldn't have been fired. And it's just one of those things. It's a double standard, and we know why.
New Year's Eve, baby. New Year's Eve is a full 6 months away.
Yeah.
With the news cycle in America. Girl, child. We don't forget about.
Right, and I'm sure she has other things going as well. I mean, she's a comedian. Go back on tour.
I know, right? Well, shit, I've been working New Year's Eve for 7 years. Shit, at least I'll be free and get wasted this year. Praise God.
Yes, be free and get wasted. Good stuff. Well, that's all I got for hot topics. Let's hop into the main topic. So today I wanted to discuss all things with online dating. I want to start with like just giving like brief experiences, but then also let's talk about each of like kind of like the apps and what we get from them and stuff like that. You had a tweet, and I wish I would have reread it. It was like last week, and you were like, it was something about like, oh, I'm on Jack. I'm not saying I'm gonna stop, but you were like, I hate that I'm always on here or something. I was cracking up at it. I'm like, that's so real though. Whereas,
I think it was saying something about things that we're addicted to, but we're not giving up. It was a hashtag.
Yeah, but I was cracking up because you were like, I'm on Jack, but I'm not saying I'm gonna stop.
Then I did the shrug emoji because I was like, I need some dick sometimes. Okay, I'm not getting off here. I don't want to stay on here until I can find what I need.
And you know what? We'll talk about that too, because that's honestly where this conversation started. I was having a conversation with friends yesterday, and we're just kind of talking about the change, what apps have kind of done to us as a community in general. But I just I thought that would be a good thing, especially for you and I. And so I want to go back to like, okay, so
have you ever hooked up with somebody on Downlink?
That's what I'm totally. We're gonna talk about that because I was gonna mention that. Like, thank you, Ronald. I thought I was gonna be like, what the fuck is that? Thank you so much. We're gonna talk about that. So I remember being 18 years old, and that's when I first started going out and stuff like that. I remember being 18 years old, and there really wasn't a heavy online dating presence, in my opinion. I remember there was just like. At the time, MySpace was popular. So there was MySpace, but I never used it for dating. It was literally me and my like high school friends and maybe a couple new college friends, you know? It was just that. It was like, oh, these are my friends, maybe some family, but it was all about that. But I don't remember people really identifying as gay on there. Like, it was very few, especially black people, who were on there like, oh yeah, I'm gay, because you have to put like your sexual preference. So I don't remember really dating on there. But I remember going out to clubs and meeting guys at the club. And so it was still very much like, okay, the traditional sense. You go, I was in LA at the time, so you go to West Hollywood, you go to the club, they were playing Sierra Goodies and Nina Sky, Move Your Body at the time. You know, let me date myself. You know, that was the time period. So you would go out. I remember we would go out every Wednesday. You would meet your guy or whatever, two guys. You get their numbers, and you know, you would meet.
Not you and me, two guys.
Listen, you gotta get your numbers for the week. Get your numbers for the
week. Oh, okay.
Get your numbers for the week. You don't know how it's gonna work out, but you'll meet guys in person.
But you had to do that at that time. You had to get two numbers that night because there wasn't Jack to where people were always.
Exactly.
Okay. See, look at this coming around.
You see where I'm going with this, right? So you actually had to go out to the clubs, or you have to go to certain places where other gay men would be. And that's how you met guys. And that's kind of how it worked for, I think, like a few months for me. And I'll never forget, somebody was at my house, we're just hanging out or whatever, and they were like, oh, can I use your computer? So they hopped on my computer, and all of a sudden I see this blue screen, and I'm like, what is this? And they're like, oh, it's BGC. And I'm like, what's that? Oh my God. I'll never forget this. I'm like, I was like, so wait, so you're meeting guys like locally, like they're all black and they're gay and they're all here. That shit, I remember that day. I remember like, oh, well shit, I have to make me a profile. And that was kind of the beginning of what we now know today for me when it comes to meeting people online.
So was your screen name like Caramel Completed verse 89?
No, but I'm sure it was something close to that. Something like, something dumb. My shit was always very like philosophical type shit. Like it always dealt with the mind, like, intellectual 186 or some shit like that. It was always
intellectual.
It was always some shit like that. It was always very, or if it was like a lyric to a song that I thought was real dope or whatever, like some Erykah Badu.
Free yourself, 86. Because the 2004 Fantasia had just came out.
Exactly. So it was always something like that. It was never about how I looked, because I've never been that guy who's been like, oh yeah, it's all about my looks. I've always been kind of like, it's more about intellect for me, and so it was always on some shit like that, you know. So yeah, it was very much I was that way. What about you? What kind of names have you had?
Well, my first name was Complex Man because I just always been difficult and dramatic, and I don't know, just a little bit over the top. And plus, I was thinking I was going to grow up to be like a strict top at some point. So Complex Man was my first one, and then my current name on Adam for Adam is Your Main Man. Y'all don't spam me with messages, please. But right now, child, I don't care about what you got going on. Just make me your main one. Thanks.
Come through, main. Yes.
You gotta accept it. Like in the world of online dating, like you're not just gonna be the sole person someone is dating. Your aim is just to be the main one, where they spend the most of their time. And is it me agreeing to be a sideline hoe? I don't know.
I can't deal. Well, let's not get too far off though. Yeah. I can't.
It's 200 pounds.
I cannot deal. I crack up because you and I have never met in person, but I feel like we have. But yeah, we have like mutual friends, and that cracks me the hell up.
Because I live my life on the internet. Like I just talk about everything.
It works out. It works out. So anyway, back to 04. This is 04 for me. I remember. Okay, so now I'm still going out. Like, I still got my life. I love going out. So that was never a problem. But at the same time, you know, that I'm also on this website. So what's happening is I'm realizing, you know, over time, you just start meeting more and more guys. And you start noticing everybody else is on here. But what's happening is I realized with, like, that website, especially BGC specifically, more and more people are meeting the same people. And it's kind of like this overpopulation thing that starts happening. Because, you know, like, we're going out to the club, you go out and meet people. Yeah, you're in the same circles and stuff like that. But when you're online, especially when it comes to distance, you start meeting the same kind of people. And so what's happening is you'll meet somebody, and then your friend will be like, oh, yeah, I met him. Oh, yeah.
I met Jerron.
I hung out with him. I hung out with him, too.
I met Leroy.
Right. So people are actually meeting people at a higher rate now. Because of this damn website. And then there was Adam for Adam, and there was also Downlink. And so these Downlink, I remember being very very Asian heavy.
Okay.
I remember, and I there were a lot of Asian people on us, and I asked around. They said, "Oh yeah, no, it was created by an Asian person." I think Down, DOWNE, is their way of asking each other if they're gay.
Oh,
right.
Learn something new.
Right, and so I remember it had a very Asian and Latino presence. They were very, and also a lot of lesbians too. Latinos
know where the money be at. Right.
I cannot deal, but they do.
Where's the coin?
But then a lot of lesbians around there too, because you know lesbians don't have a lot of apps.
That's what I was getting, because I was just like, I remember like being infatuated with Noah's Ark, and then they would say like they had special content on Downlink, and then I would go look on Downlink, and I was like, why would Noah's Ark pick Downlink as why didn't they use the BGC if it was like this coveted black gay show, but it was probably marketing, exclusive content. I don't know.
It was probably marketing. They probably got marketing dollars from Downlink.
Okay, so I have a story for you. Okay. This is how I knew Facebook was going to be trouble. So I grew up very sheltered. I never dated anyone that wasn't really allowed to receive phone calls at the house. Even school-related conversations with projects and stuff, my phone calls were monitored. Maybe that's why I live my life on the internet like this. Like, everything was just so sheltered and just so, you're going to get raped, you're going to get kidnapped, you're going to break your ankle, and I ain't got no money. But anyway, the first day moving in freshman year, I'm sitting at this computer, and this guy comes and sits next to me. Next thing I know, we're like friends, like my first adult gay best friend. Also, this same day, move-in day, freshman year, there's this dude across the library from me in the computer lab who is just like really cute. So I'm on Facebook, the guy sitting next to me is on Facebook, and then I'm chatting with this dude across at the computer lab, and then I discover that my friend is also conversing with the same guy. Is conversing a word? Is that the word?
Yes, that's the one.
And so, he was mad at me because the guy wanted me more and didn't want him. And this guy ended up becoming my first boyfriend, like freshman day of college, first day freshman year of college. going to the computer lab because I just moved in. I just want to sit and play on the internet. I meet my first gay best friend, and I met the first dude I ever had in my mouth.
Oh.
So I was like so enamored by how Facebook changed my life.
Yeah.
It was just,
And
then back
it's
then,
included.
Facebook was only for college people, so it made it more exclusive. It made it more upscale.
I remember that because I was a part of that movement too, where it was just, I remember when it was just people. And here's the thing, and it's no shade to all of you people who are on Facebook now, but when it was just for college people,
Amen.
there was a different type of intellect on Facebook.
It was.
Because it was linked to your school, so you wouldn't get on there and just put any old thing.
Embarrassing people and stuff.
Right, because now it's just it has different levels to it. At the same time, I posted the other day, Facebook is what you make it. It's still a way of making income. It's still a way of networking. Like, you gotta work that shit. Facebook is my business. That's just how it works for me. So I love Facebook. I don't consider it like a bad thing. I think it's amazing. But you get what you give. So if you out there being messy and using it for messy reasons, that's what's gonna come back to you. So
I got booked to speak at a conference last month because the guy saw me on Facebook, saw that I lived my life on the internet, and wanted to hear a younger person's perspective on some panels for something he was doing. And I was like, shout out to Facebook getting me booked out here.
Yes, congrats. That's awesome. Yeah.
Accommodations paid for and stuff. I was like,
It's
met some new people.
It's a real thing, and that's why it's so important to be consistent. You got to be consistent. But that's we're gonna end up on a whole other thing. But
so Facebook has been drama since 2005 for me. It came out in 2004. But Facebook is, I didn't need a Men for Now and what was some of those other sites?
I've never used Men for Now. Like, for me, it was always BGC or A for A. That was kind of the only two back then. And so we were still, but here, this was back when we were still on computers, though. Because, we still had the flip phones, maybe a Sidekick, but it was still very much using that.
BBMID.
Right, exactly. I missed all that stuff. That shit was so much fun. But, like, it was still very much you had to be on an actual computer. And then the app started happening. I think the first app I remember was Grindr. Because Grindr was, I think it was Grindr. Yeah, Grindr was before Jack'd, for sure. I remember that being a thing. Of course, I never really met anybody on Grindr. Like, I felt like it was more of a headache than anything else. Like, I remember just kind of being on there and it was a bunch of white dudes. And like,
I want to say trying to scour through all the people who identify as other.
Right. Yeah, it was very, very, very frustrating. And then I remember Jack'd, I found out about, I think, 2010. I was at a bar and we were just talking about stuff, and somebody was like, I was like, what's that? They're like, oh, this is Jack'd. I was like, oh. They're like, yeah, you need to get on here. It's lit. I'm like,
you can get yacked on here.
No, they didn't say lit at 2010, but they said whatever the word was then. So,
it's fierce, honey. It's fierce.
I don't think it was fierce.
It's fire.
I don't think it was fierce. But let's say bomb, because bomb lasted for a while. But I remember getting.
Were we still doing the tail feather, or we were still doing the heel? The heel toe combo, what was we doing?
In 2010? I don't know what was happening in 2010.
We were doing the popcorn. I think that's what it was doing.
Popcorn. Yeah, so I remember Jack'd. So that brought us all the way here. But by this time, it seems like, if you notice, more people are now on the apps and online than are out in public.
Because phones aren't as crazy. Like 3G, imagine like having 3G phones, and Sprint would take 15 minutes to send a picture. And then by the time 2010 got here, people weren't taking pictures of pictures to put on their profiles no more.
Right.
They had camera phones in their hand where you could take a picture right now and post and just enter your details of how you're feeling right now. And you can meet someone right now within a mile.
Right. But what's happening now?
Crazy.
So now all these bars and places are a little more empty. People aren't going out and being social in person anymore. Now more people are just staying their asses at home.
Because they all claim they suffer from quote unquote social anxiety.
But it's like, that's and so that's one of the effects of these apps that are here now. So let's now we're in present time. Let's talk about present apps and just kind of the things that we notice. Let's start with Jack'd, because that is the most obvious one for, I think, Black gay men in general. Like, that's like the like.
Let me open my Jack speaker.
Even though their marketing says otherwise, but we won't get into that. But Jack'd,
they never like to claim they Black part of the family.
But it just cracks me up though, because Jack is a black ass app, but their marketing always has these blonde boys, and he's like, it's always just, it's interesting to me, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about like what we see. Okay, so let's talk about the type of profiles that we see. I know one thing that's really big, but it's honestly, it's not new. It just seems like it's elevated. Since the beginning of time, there's always been the no fats, no femmes. And there's always been the whole mass for mass kind of energy. But I think what I'm noticing the most on like Jacked is like how mean people are like in their profiles. Like, have you peeped that? Like it seems like people.
Give an example.
Okay, like you'll see these profiles like, oh, I'm not on here to be talking to no bitch ass niggas all day. If you ain't real, stay away from me. If you films, don't hit me up.
I'm not picking you up.
Right, like it's just like
that is the most popular one.
I'm not picking you up.
DC miles is so different than Atlanta miles. Like 1 mile in Atlanta will take you 1 minute. 1 mile in DC will take
Atlanta
10.
miles are long too, though. No,
Ooh.
Atlanta miles are terrible. But it seems like people have this kind of angry ass tone in their profiles, and I'm like, is that like what you think masculinity is? Do you think?
Oh, is that? I didn't get that.
Right. Like, do you think being mean? Like, it's like seems like people are just really, 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 really angry, and I'm like, God damn. So who are you attracting with this though? Like,
I say that to some people. I 100% do seriously say that. I say, I know that you're saying this to deter people, but where's the happiness in your life where you feel like you have to acknowledge this publicly?
Right.
It's not the people, it's you.
Yep.
So you need to work on your. I do message people and say that because sometimes I'm like, this person looks like they could be a really great person if all this negativity wasn't on their profile.
Right.
So I would be a bad person if I didn't say something to them like, hey, you should reconsider talk about what makes you happy, and then use a personal filter to dilute some of this stuff. But all this negativity, shit,
right, and then not
make you look ugly.
It makes you look very ugly, and I'm like, it's a turn off. And then on top of that, people have this habit of talking about what they don't want. How about you highlight what you do want instead of insulting people that aren't what you want? It's always like, oh no.
Or make it a mix of both.
You said what?
Or make it a mix. I want a man who can cook. I don't want somebody who's addicted to fast food. I want somebody with the car. Not really interested in a girl with a bus pass. I mean, you can.
But even that sounds nice. Even that sounds nice. But some people are like, I don't want no fat asses. I don't want no nasties. It's always like no chubbies, no queens. It's like, okay.
Everybody got a belly and a beard in 2017.
Everybody has a belly and a beard in 2017.
I posted about it was one night I was in heat. Ooh, I was in heat. And it was like midnight, and I was like, all of them got beards, but they still bottoms. It was pissing me off. Okay, so back to 2007 when dudes had beards, and that meant that they were masculine and strong and stuff.
But I mean, but you have to understand that all of that is just none of that shit's real though. Like at the end of the day, you're just gonna be who you are. Like, and that brings us to my next point. There's a lot of personality catfishing online. It's not like actual catfishing. There are people who still pics, which I think is crazy as fuck in this day and age. But at the same time, there are a lot of people who pretend to be one thing online, but like completely different in person, and I always crack up at that. Like, I was at a party a few weeks ago, and I happened to open up my app, and I, of course, there's like this guy that's super near. I'm like, wait a minute, this guy looks familiar.
He at the party, child.
Well, the thing about it is, I'd been chatting with him at the party, but what he gave on Jack's was completely, well, I tell you, polar opposite.
He was giving y'all a hand performance.
He was giving you so much different. Like, it was just, I was like, wow. And I was like, and even how he looked, like, he used like a different type of lighting to make his face look a certain way. And I was like, God damn. Like, and he wasn't a bad looking guy in person, but I'd be upset if I got what you served online and I got to you and it was different. It's like, you don't look bad. Why don't you just be who you are?
And that was more common, like 10 years ago, but like nowadays where people can video chat and all this stuff, you Instagram live, you can't be faking on the internet. If you film, just be film. I mean, I know there's stigma attached to that for some stupid reason.
It's dumb.
But you still have to be your best self because people are going to find out.
And nothing's wrong.
And they leave comments.
And nothing's wrong. Listen, okay, I don't know. People act like you can't be femme, but there's a lot of men out there who love femme dudes.
The word could not go around if somebody wasn't out here receiving the package, okay?
Like,
the package has got to be delivered.
Like, there are so many men who love femme dudes, and there are so many men who love fat and big, like, obese dudes. So I hate this idea that you can't be fat or femme. That's stupid. Like, it's really dumb. Like, there's so many people who go for that. And I think we keep pushing this narrative that it doesn't exist, but it really does. And it's just interesting. And then, so I've noticed that. And I've also noticed the obsession with masculinity and thing. Like, I think being masculine or feminine goes without saying. I don't feel like you have to put it in your profile. Have you noticed that? Like, you see profiles that it says masculine, I'm masculine, mask, I'm a man. I'm like, I feel like you could go without saying that. Like, it's not really that serious.
So this is just like a turn off, like all the negativity.
Yeah, it's just like, it's not also a turn off. It's just like, it just goes without saying. If you're masked, you're masked. You don't have to actually say it. It's like saying I'm a man or I have a penis. Well, I assume you have a penis.
You have a penis. On this app.
Right, on this
Groundbreaking.
It's just interesting, like, just the energy. And like half the time going through Jack'd, I get frustrated because you're just kind of scrolling through it and you're seeing carbon copies of the last profile. It seems like everybody has the same kind of theme of just negativity and not wanting certain things, and it's just they're not happy. My favorite one is, I'm gonna delete this app soon. Ciao. If you just stop.
That headline be deleting soon. And I'm like, well, and then they'll message me. I'm like, well, if he deleting soon, our connection ain't gonna have no chance. But then 2 weeks later, I'm scrolling through my messages like, oh, look who's still here, girl.
Still here. And it's been up for 2 years.
And we just got around to it. The schedule been busy.
But no one actually cares. That's the thing. No one cares if you're deleting it, if you're staying, if you're going, if there's not.
Because most people are here not looking for anything long term anyway.
Right.
As long as I get you tonight, child, delete after our session, you can block me after our round. I don't give a damn.
And then comes the let's talk about the whole idea of the idea of being addicted to the app, because we talked about this. Me and my friends talked about this yesterday too. Do you feel like there is a kind of connection to it? Like, I noticed with me, it's very much like I'll delete it, but then like a week later I'll get it back again. Like, I'll see what's happening on here, and then after like 2 weeks of seeing what's on there, I'll delete it again. It's like I never swear off of it. I'll never be like, oh, I'm giving up Jack. Why would I lie to myself? But what I do is I come and go often. So,
yeah, you better come and go. I think I was going to call you stupid, but I'm not going to do that because that would be mean. I think that you are crazy. I think that's a safe word. You're crazy if you think that you're going to be able to escape Jack. I think because that's it's just stuck in our lives. Like, isn't it? Like, that's just the way I feel. My thoughts.
Well,
I think it's just.
I think sometimes, especially like when you say those moments when you're in heat or you just want another male energy around, and you don't want to go out. Sometimes I do feel like I don't want to be out today, but I do want to, kick it with somebody. So those are the times where I'm like, oh, let's see what's going on here, And you just kind of scroll through, chat a little bit, see what's going on in there. I mean, you always see people who are local, but at the end of the day, there's times where it gets really, really dry. There's times when my Jack gets really, really dry. Like, there's times where it's either popping or nobody's saying anything, nothing's happening, or it's like the same people.
Well, the same ugly person's hitting you up, and then they're like, well, it's Tuesday and it's raining. He'll come over this time.
No.
He not going to come. Well, one, I'm not getting in the car because it's raining, girl. You can count that out. People drive reckless when it's raining. And just, other reasons to count. But they be so excited, like, oh, well, Scandal didn't come on tonight, so I know he got his energy up. Maybe he'll come up here and bust me down.
What?
No. I'm gonna use this time to check on my mama. I'm good.
I cannot deal. So yeah, so there's that. So it's like the come and go, but it's always like, okay, delete, undelete, delete, undelete, undelete, change these pictures, let's do this. It feels like a big marketing scheme too. You're like, okay, do I have the right type of pictures up? Do I have the right kind of feel? Like with me, I always have like one straight face, one smiling, one full body. That's kind of my formula.
Please have a full body. Oh my God.
Right, because
the importance of a full body.
I don't want all the questions or can you send me 17 pictures? Like, nigga,
so when did you take this full body picture, bitch?
Right.
Look at the type of phone I have in my hand. Is it a Galaxy Note 1 or do it look like a Galaxy S8? You can tell.
Or there's like a Motorola V360.
And as hell. You know what cell phone is out right now.
Right. So I do that because I hate those send me picture.
Send me a recent pic.
I hate that.
Send me your recent pay statement, girl.
These are recent pics. Yeah, no, and so that I haven't gotten that lately because I'm very big about having the right pics up because like if, you know, it's because I think people know, especially like if you only have like shoulder up pics, I think that makes people nervous.
Oh, some people be having face. Somebody messaged me like yesterday or the day before. All three of them were like face pictures with no neck, and I was like, "So you ain't got no neck in 2017? God just out here making animorphs." What are you going through?
What are you going through? Yeah, so there's that, and so but which is people. At the end of the day, people are just trying to connect, and I get there is a certain level of, I guess, lying, if that makes sense. Like,
I mean, it is a marketing plus, so you're marketing yourself. I mean, you are the resume.
Right. And
your body is your resume.
Right.
Your words on your profile, your height and weight is your resume. Like,
that's true. No, that's real. But it's like one of those things where people ultimately just want to get laid. Because there was someone that I was chatting with, and the picture they sent me was so goddamn old. Well, at least it probably wasn't more than maybe 2 years old, but their body had changed significantly. In the like from the top when they got to my plate, I was like, "Oh, this is like wow!" Like they had gained like so much weight from the picture that they sent, and I was like,
"So you met them in person, or you still?"
We met in person.
Oh, okay.
And then
he was using pictures from his A480.
He was using pictures from when he was at a better size. How about that?
From his Black Planet when their metabolism was high.
It wasn't even old. It wasn't like a really old picture though. Like it was still recent enough that I knew it was him. But I was like, wow. Like it was.
Maybe he recently went through a depression.
Maybe
they caused him to eat a lot. I don't know.
And that's what it comes down to. It comes down to people literally they want to be laid and they want to they want to connect. But so they do a little bit of
fibbing
per se with what they send you, and I guess
everybody marketing got a marketing degree now.
But I guess they hope you'll change your mind when you get, or they hope you won't change your mind when they get to you, or I don't know. Like I don't know what the end game is because that's not my style. So it's like. You presented one thing and then you met this person. I guess you expect them to be like, oh, okay, that's fine. Let's just continue doing what we're going to do because I'm not going to do it.
Okay, like I'm going to have to get back on the app and then I'm going to have to look for another person. Is that where you're going?
Well, it's more or less I have to be like, all right, yeah, no, you don't like your pictures and that bothers me. So let's go ahead and just cancel this. Like,
Kevin, close your eyes and just imagine that it's Omari Hardwick.
Well, why do I have to do that when I was honest about how I looked?
Were you?
Yeah.
Your beard is not the same length as it was in the picture. Straight up the beard. Now, maybe it's not a pay week, so you get your beard trimmed. But you don't look like your picture.
If that's the biggest problem, then I don't know what to tell you.
Kevin, your brows are done. You had perfectly manicured brows. And now it's not. You need to call your eyebrow lady and make an appointment.
Oh my God. I can't stand you. Touche, I guess, but no, that's still not the same thing.
But weight is just, you got an extra 10 pounds, Charlie.
No, and here's the thing 10 pounds ain't shit. But like, I'm talking like, nah, where it's just like, that's not you. Or you sent that beach pic from that summer you starved yourself.
Okay. That happened to me DC Pride weekend. I don't want to go too far into it because I don't want to. But I met somebody like one of those vacations and everybody was good. But then I met them again DC weekend and I was like, it's 40 pounds different. And
it happens, but just don't present yourself as one thing and be another. That's why I have an issue. Like, I'm here for confidence. Like, if you're like, I don't have a problem with thick dudes or big dudes or whatever. Like, there's been some great experiences because they were confident. It's all about the swag. It's all about how you approach it. But if you're lying, that's what I hate because it means I guess you're insecure about it, and I get it. But at the same time, you're presenting something that you're not.
It's not like they need a psychologist, not a date. A date with a psychologist, not a date with me.
Maybe.
Maybe
that's it. Maybe that is it. Do you still use Grindr?
I have Grindr, but like my Grindr ain't worked right since like my Galaxy Note 4. So I don't know.
Grindr is just like heavily white from what I've noticed. Like it's just And it's like there's hella racism on there. Like it's very much.
But I've heard in LA that like, well, my best friend went and visited LA. He said like it was more black people on Grindr, and a lot of the other races were on Jacked.
Oh, okay. I guess.
And it was backwards for him.
So maybe it's just regional, and everyone's perspective is different. Because I know people out here who are on Grindr and they live it up. They're like, "Oh yeah, I met this guy today." I'm like, "Did you?"
Well, no, he was masked. I met a girl today. Yeah.
Well, it's just
Damn lives matter.
I can't. I just think it's interesting though, because like for me, it's always been very heavily white, and they're all saying, "Oh, no black guys. Sorry, just not my preference." And it's just like,
oh, this is cute. It says, "Unlock more guys. Watch a free video. Offer ends in 1 minute 47 seconds." Oh, okay. So even with the free account, if you watch an advertisement, it'll give you like some more dudes. This is cute. I like that.
Is that on Grindr?
Yeah, this is Grindr. Like, child, I haven't been on Grindr in Lord knows how long.
Right.
But
How do you feel
it's
about
two
that?
black guys on here.
He says 2.
Yes, 2.
Oh, okay, that's good.
1, 2. Is he black? No, he's not black. 3. And me, that's 4. Okay. Shout out to my screen name being Dig in it. You know? What do you want to Let me hit this.
I
I'm
can't.
digging it today.
I can't. How do you feel about the apps charging?
I mean, if you provide a service, you should find a way to make money off of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I was out here painting toenails, girl, can I at least make $10 off painting toenails? I mean, shit.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Good stuff.
Now, the amount of money, because I know that Jack started out, it was like 14, then it was 19, then it went to 24. I think Jack is $24.99 for a pro account. But I've seen something was $29. I'm not sure who was. But as a blogger, I just buy my subscription and write off on my taxes. So, I don't know. It don't hurt me.
Well, go in.
I mean, it is work for me.
Is it research?
It's work for me. I can make a blog post titled 11 Jacked Picture Shenanigans We're Tired of if I'm not on Jacked. So, I mean...
That's true. You do have very interesting blogs that crack me up. You just go straight for the gusto.
Because that's the only way I want to get your attention, because there's so much... everybody got a blog now. I got to make sure RonaldMatters.com stands out.
And plugged, yes. Go visit RonaldMatters.com. Are there any other things that you notice, like right now, what you're going through? Is there anything else that you notice, or like trends you see on Jack that you, or things that you do like on Jack, or things that you don't like that you want to kind of highlight? Like,
what happened where the Jack scandal and everybody's private pictures was unlocked? Because I definitely went through my favorites, and I was like, so y'all just not gonna unlock none of my favorites? Because I'm trying to find out if some of these boys' meats is big or not.
I do. I remember that.
So,
It
like,
wasn't
none of
that
my favorites pictures got exposed.
I was confused because I was like, wait, did he unlock for me? Have we talked before? Like, a lot of these people that I had never talked to before. And I was seeing all these news. I was like, what's happening right now? And that's when it hit me. I said, oh, there's a glitch. Because I was like, I don't remember him unlocking for me. Like, why didn't I respond to him?
Once you see them unlock bitch, like, what?
It changed your mind. People you didn't want to consider before, I was like, you're like, actually.
So this birthday dinner tonight, and it's my birthday. My friends understand.
That's terrible. I do want them to get better with their IT department, because the app itself does kind of destroy your phone. Like, it's not like the battery. Like, my battery's always terrible when I have the Jack app on my phone.
You've got to remember to go clear your what is it like when they store data to your phone? I think it's iPhone, and then like settings, and then you go through your apps. And like you can clear all of the memory that it has stored on your device.
Mm-hmm.
And it might not just be Jacked, because I know I have Google Play Music, Apple Music. Google Play Music is really heavy with like saving songs that I listen to, so it can easily pull them back up. And there's other apps on your phone that could be taking away hogging all your data. So then that way, when you download Jacked, there's no data for no memory space on the device.
It's never a memory issue. More or less, it makes my phone freeze, like the app itself. But when I remove it, my phone goes back to working fine. Like the app itself is just like, yeah.
Well, child, I tried. I just want you to have Jacked and everything out of it.
I appreciate you wanted me to have it all. You wanted me to have it all. You wanted me to have it all. I appreciate it.
I want you to be successful.
I appreciate it. That's so cool. That's so cool. I can't deal with you. I'm done. I am absolutely done. I can't think of anything else that I want to cover. Do you have anything else that you want to cover as far as Jacked or online dating or?
This month is Pride Month.
It is.
So definitely make sure that you are remembering the heritage of why Pride Month is important. It's not just about being a circuit party. We go all the way back to when there were laws were saying that even our drag queens had to wear 2 articles of male clothing, even if they were dressed as a female impersonator, to what happened at Stonewall in 1969, and the 3 gay marches that happened after that, which grew to what appears to be circuit parties now. We all just fly down to Atlanta or fly to DC and party for 4 days. But there is more heritage behind how we got here, and let's make sure we remember that for Pride Month. And Betsy DeVos is still sitting up giving public testimony that she will discriminate against LGBT students. So, child, we still need Pride Month. Do not forget those things, please.
That was great. Thank you for that. So
Happy Pride.
that was a great place to stop. I like that. Tell people where they can find you, Ronald.
RonaldMatters.com. Black Lives Matter stole my name. RonaldMatters.com. And of course, I'm Here For It podcast with my friend Martell, the Superman Todd. HereForItPod.com. We're on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, all of the things. Follow us on Instagram at Here For It Pod, because that's where we're really cute and you can see us and enjoy our content.
I'm here for
And that's
that.
all.
Awesome.
Here for it.
Thank you so much. And also, you guys know where to find me, The World of Kevin. Make sure you subscribe and share it with your friends. But yeah, this was a great show. I appreciate you being on. I'm sure we'll have you on again.
Thank you.
But all right, you guys, I'll talk to you all next week. Enjoy your weeks and have fun. Peace out.